You've probably heard politicians say tariffs protect jobs, punish foreign countries, and make the economy stronger.
Sounds simple, right?
But what if I told you tariffs can secretly raise your rent, slow innovation, and even make a country weaker? Today we're breaking down the hidden effects of tariffs that almost nobody talks about, including the one economists call the silent tax. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. First, quick definition. A tariff is basically a tax a country puts on imported goods. Governments say they do this to protect domestic industries, punish rival countries, or bring manufacturing back home.
Sounds patriotic, sounds logical.
But tariffs don't behave the way most people think they do. Because tariffs don't just affect trade. They ripple through the entire economy like a shockwave. Let's start with the biggest hidden effect. Most people think tariffs hurt foreign companies. In reality, they mostly hurt you. Here's why. When a tariff is added to imported goods, the foreign company usually doesn't pay it. The importer does. And what does the importer do? Raises prices. That means tariffs act like a hidden sales tax, except you don't see it on your receipt. Economists have studied this for decades, and in most cases, consumers pay the majority of tariff costs through higher prices. That washing machine tariff? You paid for it. That steel tariff? You paid for it in higher car prices. That clothing tariff? You paid for it every time you bought jeans. And here's the crazy part. Governments can raise billions in revenue from tariffs without voters realizing they're the ones funding it. That's why some economists call tariffs the most politically convenient tax in existence. But price increases are actually the least dangerous effect. The next one is where things get wild. Tariffs are usually sold as job protection. The idea is simple. Tax imports. Domestic companies face less competition. They hire more workers. Sometimes that does happen. But there's a hidden trade-off most people miss. Tariffs protect one industry by hurting several others. Example. If a country puts tariffs on imported steel, domestic steel companies benefit. But companies that use steel, car manufacturers, construction firms, appliance makers now have to pay more. That means higher costs, lower profits, layoffs, or price increases. In several historical cases, studies found that tariffs saved jobs in one sector, but destroyed more jobs in industries that depended on those materials. So the net effect? Fewer jobs overall. It's like saving one branch of a tree while poisoning the roots. Here's where tariffs become geopolitical. When one country imposes tariffs, the other country rarely just sits there. They retaliate. Country taxes imports from country B. Country B responds with tariffs on exports from country A. Then A responds again. Then B escalates. This is called a trade war. And historically, trade wars don't just hurt governments. They hit farmers, manufacturers, exporters, small businesses. During past tariff battles, entire industries lost access to foreign markets overnight. Imagine building a business selling products overseas, and waking up to find your biggest market just slammed the door shut. That's what retaliation does. Tariffs aren't just economic policy. They're economic weapons. But here's the effect almost nobody talks about. The innovation killer. Competition forces companies to improve. When foreign companies enter a market with cheaper or better products, domestic firms have two options: innovate or lose customers. That pressure drives technological advancement. But tariffs reduce that pressure. If foreign competitors become more expensive because of tariffs, domestic companies suddenly don't need to improve as fast. They're protected. At first, that sounds good. But long-term? Protection can breed complacency. History shows that industries shielded from global competition often fall behind technologically. They get comfortable. They stop evolving. And when protection eventually ends, they collapse. So ironically, tariffs meant to strengthen industries can sometimes make them weaker over time. Modern economies aren't simple. Products aren't made in one country anymore. They're built across global supply chains. Your phone might include parts from Korea, Taiwan, Germany, Mexico, and the US tariffs disrupt those supply chains. When one component gets taxed, the cost of the entire product rises. Companies then scramble to find new suppliers, redesign products, or move factories. That chaos creates delays, shortages, price spikes. Even if the tariff targets only one product, the ripple effect spreads across dozens of industries. It's like pulling one gear out of a machine and watching the entire system grind. Here's the big picture effect. Tariffs don't just change prices. They change alliances. When countries get hit with tariffs, they often respond by strengthening trade relationships with other nations instead. So instead of hurting a rival, tariffs can push them closer to your competitors. Trade policy is basically diplomacy disguised as economics. And sometimes a tariff meant to weaken another country actually helps them build stronger global partnerships. So when you hear someone say tariffs are simple, remember this: they can act like hidden taxes. They can cost more jobs than they save. They can trigger trade wars. They can slow innovation. They can disrupt entire industries. And they can shift global power, all from one policy tool. Tariffs aren't just taxes on imports. They're dominoes. And once you tip the first one, you don't always control how the rest fall. If you want more deep dives into economic policies that secretly shape your life without you noticing, subscribe. Because the next video is about something even more invisible than tariffs. The economic indicator governments watch that predicts recessions before they happen. And almost nobody knows it exists.